Hey everyone, welcome back to our weekly Let's Try series where we try out the beginning of another furry visual novel, and today I've arbitrarily chosen the Ballad of Claw and Heart because no one can stop me. I lay there in a bed that was not my own, lost in my own head. I felt him roll over behind me and put his paws around my waist. I felt his warm breath against my neck. I just wanted him to hold me there forever. I turned off my thoughts and just took in the moment, capturing it like a photo and imprinting it in my brain. Just laying there with my fox. Slowly, I opened my eyes. Morning, love. I never wanted to get up, but all good things must come to an end. I gotta go. Do you really, though? Mm-hmm. But I mean, do you really, though? I tried my best not to giggle, but I wasn't strong enough. Look, I don't know. I don't like it just as much as you, but I have to work later. But I have work later, and I need to be home soon. It's a weekend. I just stared at him. Fine, but next time you have to promise me we can cuddle all day. All right, love. Whatever you want. From the Sunset Coast. Part 1. Claw. Open. Act 1. I awake up to the sound of my alarm, just like every morning. By the time my eyes open and I gain consciousness, my dream has already been lost to the deepest recesses of my mind. I lay there in my bed for a while, dreading the fact that I have to get up to go to my classes. I look over at the little plant on my nightstand, something to look at while I lazily lay in bed. My room is small but cozy. It has a predominantly light and dark gray color scheme, with black and brown thrown in there on things like my desk and TV stand. I have some books displayed on my shelves, throwing some more color in, and a teeny tiny little pink, purple, and blue flag poking out from behind all my office supplies. I slept with my window open, and though the rest of my room is chilly, the sunlight is warm. It envelops my body and heats up my fur, making me feel warm despite the cold temperature. It rarely gets cold in San Diego, but this past year was especially rainy and chilly, most days having a high around 60. Which, to be fair, doesn't sound cold, but here, that's pretty cold. Give me your house. My second alarm snapped me out of my drift. Finally, after looking over at my phone and seeing no notifications since the last time I checked, I decided that it's time to stop being dramatic and go get ready. Are you blushing at yourself? That's a cute design. I forced myself up to the bathroom to take a quick shower. I normally take one in the morning. It helps me to wake up. And I need to wash my fur so it doesn't look matted. We huskies have notoriously hard fur to deal with. It's thick and gets super matted really easily. I have to cut knots out from behind my ears nearly every other day. Hey, gets me a lot of compliments though. That makes up for all the hassle, I think. My ex used to prattle on and on about how much he loved it. In fact, I think it was the only thing he loved about me other than when he had me in bed. It's 6:30 a.m. in the morning, and I'm already starting. I cut off that train of thought right there. It's too early for this. After getting out of the shower, I complete my usual morning routine. I brush my fur to help make the drying process faster. My fur is plastered flat on my abs and chest, so that's where I start first. I don't usually brush my fur, but it feels really good. so I make a mental note to do it more in the future. Plus, it helps make me look not homeless. Bonus, I guess. I do everything else I need to. Brush my teeth, do my hair, put oils in my fur, etc. I finish up in the bathroom and head downstairs. When I walk downstairs, I see Mom in her office, so I sit down at the counter and get myself a banana from the dish by the microwave. It's my go-to breakfast and honestly all I need in the morning. Dad has already gone to work. He starts early and gets home early. Mom works from here and has an office space for herself. I tend to use it for my work a lot though. As I drive to school, my mind starts to wander a bit. I live at home. I go to UC San Diego and my house is like 50 minutes away. Why pay for a dorm when I can just live with my psycho mom? I'm in my junior year. I'm majoring in business, which people tend to think is odd since UCSD has a reputation for being a biotech-heavy school, but that's not the only thing they do. They have a really good art and business program. The morning is bright and sunny for now. As I drive further towards my destination, the clouds move in, and it looks like it's going to rain. I think I toured this exact campus when I was figuring out what college I was going to go to. I didn't really want to go to UC because I didn't want to have student debt, and I won on that level, I guess. I went to a state college instead and graduated with 0 debt, and then proceeded to not really use my degree, so at least, you know, net zero except for losing 5.5 years to school. Honestly, I prefer this over sunny weather. It's sunny and hot during summer, and I hate it. When I enter the lecture hall, I'm greeted with the usual yelling. The atmosphere is always very loud in that class. People like to yell, I guess. That and the fact no one wants to be here, including me. My first class of the day is algebra. Fun. As I take a seat and get out at my laptop, the professor finally comes in and shuts everyone up. All right, everyone. No response. He tries louder. All right, guys, settle. Everyone slowly realizes he's trying to get their attention. Okay, now that everyone is quiet. He glares up at a group of 3 boys still talking to each other, apparently oblivious to the professor's presence here in the first place. The 4th person at that row, a tall female coyote, nudges one of the boys. All 3 boys stop talking. Let us begin today's lesson. We will begin module 5.6 today, and... I open Spotify on my laptop and kind of half pay attention. I usually just end up learning it on my own since the professor doesn't do the best job of teaching it. I do my work in class, but nothing more. Everything else, I do in my own time. Alright everyone, settle, take a seat while I take attendance. The day kinda just flew by. I'm already in period 3. Of course, nothing of note happened, except I saw someone complaining and screaming at the cashier when I went to go get lunch. That was hard to watch. Some people, man. I spot Adam standing over by the professor's desk. He sees me too, and waves. I wave back, but he doesn't see as he turns back around to talk to the professor. When he turns back, he starts walking towards me. He sits down next to me. We have both our first morning classes together. He shoots me a warm smile. He's certainly an odd one, but I love him dearly. He's a mixed breed, a cross between an alligator and a dog. An alligator and a dog? We don't get a lot of hybrid characters in visual novels, actually. Not until Coor starts making a lot more of them. It's unclear what kind of dog, but that's kind of beside the point. It was unclear what kind of dog you were, if I'm being honest. I thought you were a raccoon. They don't really teach the interspecies pups. Teach of interspecies pups because they're just so fucking rare. Interspecies relationships aren't uncommon, but they never have kids because it's viewed as impossible. Only a handful ever survive past birth, and even less survive past their infant years. But here one is, in the flesh. He's taught me a lot. I like to think I'm pretty well educated at this point. He has huge ears reminiscent of a golden retriever, but has scales on his back like an alligator. He has dark gray, almost black fur, with striking blue and purple accents. Although he does have some blue and purple in there, spotted throughout, he dyes a lot of it to make it less ugly. He hates it, but there's nothing else. There's nothing he can do about it. I love it though. Although it earns us stares when we're out, even if he had normal fur, he would get stared at anyway, so who cares? Hey, love. We have an appearance. I was like, it'd be easier to show us what a character looks like than to describe them for a while, given the medium. Kyo and Adam. Oh god, I forgot who was who a little bit. We were calling one of us you earlier. Let's see. Hey babe, how's your day been? Sorry for not texting you good morning, by the way. I had to wake up early and get some work done. I completely forgot. I'm sorry, baby. He gives me a soft kiss on the nose and I giggle a bit. Love, it's okay. Even if I wouldn't hold a grudge over that. Yeah, but... Oh, shush, I know you're trying. Will it make you feel better to hear me say I forgive you? Yeah. Well, I do. Love you, big guy. Love you too, baby. Alright, settle please. We're going to start with handwritten notes. There's a collective groan throughout the lecture hall. It makes Adam giggle a bit. I'm very meticulous about my notes. Everything is organized and neat. And it kind of makes me giggle seeing this dude's chicken scratch. A lot of use of the word giggle so far. By the time class ends, we had both finished our assignment. We spent the first half of the period helping each other with it, then just goofing off. I'm not used to the term period being used to describe college. Because yeah, it's a UC. People always talk about like second period and stuff like that in high school and middle school because you have a series of classes that'll happen in specific time slots where everyone has a class at the same time, but different classes based on your particular schedule. But college is a shit show. The schedule's a nightmare. You just take whatever classes you need next, which could be all over the place. I had a particular strategy where I would try to go to college as few days as possible. So I made those days as long as possible. I had some semesters where I only went to school on Thursdays and Fridays, but the day would like start at like 7 a.m. and last all the way until like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. So I'd be driving home and for that I had a 2-hour drive. So I'd practically be getting home at midnight after spending all day in school. But like, you had multi-hour breaks between those classes because they weren't in periods. They just took place when they happened to take place. Just a scatter of when rooms are available and teachers are available and so on. So the concept of periods I don't think applied, and I don't know if other colleges are different than that. I don't know if UCs are different, but it seems like a non-applicable term. Me and him aren't in a committed relationship. We kind of started as a friends with benefits sort of thing, but eventually we decided to love each other, that we love each other too much for that, and it turned into an open relationship. It was my idea, since I'm not ready to go back into a full-on relationship right now, and he understands that, even if he gets a bit jealous when I tell him I met someone and we hit it off. That's another thing. He wants me to tell him whenever I see someone other than him, which is reasonable, but he kind of gets really heated over it. I'm seeing this big tiger who's really sweet, but Adam doesn't seem to like him. But then again, he never likes who I'm seeing. Wish he would just tell me how he feels, but he tends to be secretive with his feelings. I know it's not that he doesn't trust me, he just doesn't want to worry me with anything. He'd rather suppress everything than bother me with it, no matter how many times I tell him I would rather know, and that it bothers me more that I don't know. He won't hear it, though. My last class was with my 2 childhood best friends, Jinsei and Koda. A furry? Named Koda? I sit down next to him and they both immediately start yelling. Kyo! Jin turns around and sees me as well. Yo, you're late. I am 3 minutes early. Yeah, but you're here after us, so that means you're late. What? That's not... How about you, Coda? I would be better... I'm not sure if they're trying to say it would be better if you were on time, or like, I would be better if you were on time. Like, I'd have better habits. I would be better if you were on time. Yeah, see? You're always late. I put my paw over my face. Can't deal with this already. Well, just be on time next time, we won't have a problem. I don't give them the satisfaction of a response. They like to mess with me because they know I give them the reaction they're looking for. The only way to win is not to play. Koda's been my friend since elementary school. He's a small fox. He's a bit wild, but he toned it down a bit, though, when Jin came along. Jin came over from Japan. He's a red panda. He's a little, well, more than a little on the bigger side, and his wardrobe seems to consist only of slightly too small hoodies and baggy sweatpants. He really only wears those two things, even during the summer. I don't know how he doesn't cook alive with his fur. It's soft and it's really thick. He looks over at Coda and starts talking about something. They then go back to the game they were playing earlier. I've been friends with Coda for as long as I can remember. He was always a troublemaker, but when Jin came, he mellowed out a little. You said all of that already. That entire sentence. Neither of them are the most intelligent beings on the planet, but they're very nice. I was zoning out when I was tapped on the shoulder by a small paw. Yo, you there? What? Oh, yeah, sorry, I was spacing out. What's up? We just wanted to see if you wanted to hang out later. Maybe go get dinner? Yeah, of course. I can't do it today, but maybe sometime later this week? Okay, what days are you available? Well, let's see. What day is it today? Wednesday? I can do tomorrow and Friday. I can't do anything this weekend, though. I have a lot of stuff to do. That's a lie. I just want some alone time. Yeah, either of those days works for me. Whatever you want. Doesn't really matter either way. A choice. But at what cost? Yeah, Thursday works. Jin? Huh? Does that work for you? I don't know. We can talk about it later. I need to kick your ass at this game. You said that last time and lost 5-1. How about you take notes? Have you thought of that at all? Nope. Oh my god. Jin? What? Okay, yep. I don't know what I expected. And at that, I get back to ignoring them. I don't have any tests to study for the rest of the week, which is nice, but those notes are still killing me. These notes. Are they currently taking notes? They were in class, right? So they're playing a game? The fact that they spaced out isn't helpful for them taking notes when you think about it. When I get home, I'm immediately greeted by Mom. Hey, how was your day? Good? That's good. Any homework? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, you should finish it before you do anything else. How about you not treat me like I'm still in high school? I don't know, you still call them periods. Did you talk to Jin or Coda? Yep. How are they? Good, good. Are they going away over break? I mean, I don't think so. I didn't ask, but they didn't mention it, so I don't think so. Anyways, I'm gonna go finish up that work. I'm gonna go finish up that work. That is a relatable thing about being a guy with guy friends and Mom asking very basic questions and you not having the answer. And you're like, oh my god, do we talk? Do we even talk? Should I feel bad about all of our relationships? I think it's sometimes an asymmetry between how men and women socialize sometimes, or how they're socialized to socialize, where it's like there's so much stuff that would come up and then your mom would expect you to have these basic things, basic bits of information, and you continually just not have any of it. I was like, you kind of reflexively always have the thought, like, I didn't want to pry. He'd say it if you wanted us to know. Anyways, I'm gonna go finish up that work. No, I'm not. Alright, love you. Love you, Mom. When Dad came home, he didn't say hello. He just walked on by, set the food on the counter, and left. Probably just had a bad day at work. I spoke to Mom a bit before doing the dishes and going upstairs. We had a late dinner. It was always dark when I went upstairs, so I laid down on my bed. I'm tired, but I didn't fall asleep. I just laid there. Eventually, I got on my phone and wasted time for a bit, scrolling through Instagram. After a couple more hours, I finally get sleepy. I usually go to bed anywhere from 10:30 to 11, but I'm especially tired this night, so I go to bed around 10. I reflexively almost started saying 10 a.m. I'm like, that's not even what it says or is correct. I feel sleep coming to me, and I let it envelop me, slowly drifting off. So far, I would say that the story is probably a little too bogged down in minutia of describing a normal day, which most people kind of intuitively understand. Like, if you introduce a character as being a college student, then we already know what their day is like, mostly. So you can really skip to scenes where, like, story or character things are happening. So it's more interesting to introduce your various friends and relationships via a scene where something is actually happening versus just, like, having them pop up so you can then exposit who they are, but not have them actually say or do anything. Which is kind of what happened all day. I totally beat my alarm this morning. As in woke up before it. Kind of like the feeling. Kind of a relief I still have time. I know most don't share that sentiment though. Maybe I'll use the time to exercise. Actually, maybe not. I tend to not exercise in the morning, so I'm not sore the rest of the day. I'm pretty fit already, so I don't really go to the gym. I work out occasionally, but there's no schedule to it. It's just whenever I feel like it. It's all at home. I have an exercise bike, but other than that, I usually just do body weight exercises. And it's gotten me this far. I don't want to just fall back asleep, so I get up and start to get ready a bit early. I have a lot of time, so I just use it to take a long shower. As I weave through the crowded halls of the school and enter my first class, I feel a small paw smack the back of my head. Adam isn't here, and his paw is way bigger than that anyways, so I can almost immediately narrow down who it is before I even turn around and look. Good morning, Coda. I turn around as I say that, looking down at the small fox, who's snickering at himself. Are you sitting? No, you're in the halls. Okay. I got distracted by the background, and I'm like, he shouldn't be below you if he's on a higher row of seats. Aw, man. You could have at least acted scared. You are the least scary thing I have ever seen. But you could have pretended. I just stare at him and chuckle to myself. Asshole. He says it through laughter. Wait, didn't he just try to scare me? And I'm the asshole? Whatever. Where's your boyfriend? Oh, haha. No, for real. Where is he? You two never separate. He's not my boyfriend. Mm-hmm. You keep telling yourself that. He's not. I win. And if you must know, he's sick. Oh no. No more makeout sessions because he's all germy? Fuck you. We both burst out into laughter. Just then, Coda looks at the time and realizes he's late to his morning lecture. Shit, I gotta head to my professor. I gotta head out or my professor's gonna have a fucking freak out. See you later, man. That's also not very college. I'm kind of wondering if they have a very different college experience or if they haven't been to college, because I'm like, professors don't care when you don't. They literally don't care if you don't show up to class. Like, whatever. You're paying to be here. I'm just here to teach the classes and move on with my life. It's so different from high school where there's such an emphasis on disciplining you and attendance and That's because it's the fundamental difference of, like, one is government school that's practically mandated daycare, and you're like required to be there, and the other one is like, you voluntarily paid to come here, but you could just not show up all semester, and I'm barely going to pay attention to that. Yeah, see you, man. And at that, he runs off, ducking and weaving between other students as he disappears down the hall. I sit down at what I've claimed as my seat and take out my laptop as Adam walks in. Morning, baby. I plant a kiss on his cheek before shooting an annoyed look and nodding behind me. He puts a hand on my shoulder and gently squeezes. There are these two really annoying wolves next to me who never shut up, and the professor won't let me switch seats since it's necessary for attendance or something. Yeah, that's definitely not my college experience. You don't have seats or attendance. Either way, I can't get away from them, and I hate it. These two are just such dicks as well. They're the jock type, and I guess they've bullied Jin for a while. Poor Jin. Speaking of, I totally forget I have dinner with him and Coda tonight. I need to stop home and change into something nicer before we go. Yeah, I don't know, are UCs really different? I just reminded myself that it's UC San Diego, so because I'm like, I'm used to enough stories coming from other cultures that I'm like, oh, maybe it's just a complete different country, and I'm like, are UCs that different from state colleges? I feel like I wouldn't expect them to be. Did you go? People who went to UC Davis or UC San Diego or whatever, like, did you take attendance every day? Is that a thing? For the rest of the day, I just kind of relaxed. I didn't have any work since winter break is literally tomorrow, so I spent most of my day doodling in my little notebook. I'm not a very good artist, but I like to jot down my narratives and ideas I make up in a little notebook I use for most of my classes. I try to pair it with the best little sketch. You use one notebook for most of your classes? Oh, that's cursed. You've got to have a separate notebook for every class. Your notes... maybe it's a huge notebook with, like, dividers for each class in between. Except just, like, you don't want to mix your notes between classes from page to page. It'd be a nightmare. I try my best to pair with the best little sketches my paws can cook up. But they usually are just unintelligible scribbles no one except I can understand. I spoke more to Adam, though only briefly. After my last lecture, I rush home, change into some nicer clothes, a long tan jacket, black shirt, gray cargo pants, and knee-high black socks, and meet them at the shopping center next to the school. Yeah, he's late. That's you, right. Wait, you're supposed to be sick. Great friend. Tell me about it. Anyways, how's your day going? Good, good. Not really much going on since school got out. How about you? Is Jin supposed to be the boyfriend? I'm unclear. Because Jin wasn't in that scene, and they said the boyfriend is somebody that he's never separating from, and he was introduced. Or was it they? Actually, it might be they, them. But the fox was introduced with Jin, so that would make you think that Jin is the boyfriend. But the boyfriend's supposed to be sick. So is Jin sick? Or did they kind of make it confusing by introducing the characters that way? Good, good. Not really much going on since school got out. How about you? I was swamped with shit to do for lacrosse. I mixed up the voice a little bit. That's Jin. Oh yeah? Isn't your last game on Saturday? Yeah, we have a banquet, and I somehow got stuck organizing it. So Jin... Yeah. And I'm like... I keep hitting this note, but I'm like, school doesn't get out in college, because there isn't like an endpoint for it. But yeah, Jin was busy with lacrosse, so they must not be the boyfriend then, because they weren't sick, I guess. That sucks. Yeah. Why didn't your team captain deal with it? He's a lazy dickhead. Fair enough. Oh. Coda Jin group chat. On my way. Uh-huh. Coda just texted. He should be here soon. Yeah, I saw. You've known him longer than I have. Has he always been like this? Oh my god, yes. He used to be worse before you came, then he actually got better. I'm such a good influence. Yeah, right. At that point, you could probably delete the last 2 references to him improving when Jin got here, because you're gonna confirm it in dialogue anyway. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. You are anything but a good influence, Jin. Kota appeared out of nowhere, slammed his tiny little paws into Jin's shoulders. Jesus Christ. I start laughing. Don't fucking laugh at me, little fucker came out of nowhere. I don't expect a Japanese immigrant to internalize the phrase Jesus Christ necessarily. Ha, you scare easily, unlike this asshole. He jams a finger into my chest as I slowly start to recover from my laughing fit. Although I don't know if we know exactly how recently he got here, actually. I'm not afraid of you, little shit. Little shit. Yeah, I'm gonna... Before he had time to finish his empty threat, I cut him off. Should we head inside? It's starting to get crowded. Yes, let's. I'm still not over the whole little shit thing, but okay. I'm sure. I order food for us at the counter while Kota and Jin, Joda, there's your shipper name, I guess, go to get a table. We decide on a Mexican place, but at the school. It's a bit expensive, but that's fine. I haven't gone out in a while anyways. It's not a huge establishment, but it's nice. It's very California-y. It's probably the least Mexican food can possibly be, but it's very good. I'm reminded of how much I like the food every time I come here. I always get this veggie burrito with lettuce, sour cream, beans, tomatoes, stuff like that. After I order for everyone, I look around and try to find where they chose. After a quick scan of inside the seating area, I decide they sat down outside. So I look out the large windows to my left. An expensive place that doesn't have waiters. Sure enough, I see Kota's pointy ears poking out above another group sat in the table in front of them. After grabbing our 3 drink cups, I walk out through the double doors and make my way over the back where they sat. Hey, I got drinks too. You guys can get whatever you want. Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. No problem. So what are your guys' plans this weekend? Nothing much. Probably just studying. I turn and look at Jin expectantly. Staying in my dorm and having some alone time, if you know what I mean. Lovely. Jin turns to me and starts aiming his bullshit at me. Hey, not all of us have a partner to take our loads like you do. What a sentence to say out loud on purpose. And with that attitude, you'll never get one. That seems to get a rise out of him. Says the one who fake dated a girl in high school to throw people off your trail. The only reason I did that is because your parents are fucking bigots and were suspecting. They told me to stop hanging out with you. Would you rather have me done that? Then Kota chimes in. Wait, I thought you were bi. I am. It's just neither of us liked each other like that. We were really close friends, so I asked her to help me out. And that went super well and nothing bad happened at all. It's still your fault. Kota suddenly got another burst of energy. Too bad it's being used to interrogate me. Wait, I never knew about this. Dude, you gotta tell me the story. I shoot Jin a look, and he knows what it means. It wasn't my proudest moment. Still isn't. I'm fine with jokes about it, but I don't much enjoy recounting the story, since contrary to Jin's sarcasm, it did not end well. Alright. There's not much to it other than that I was always visibly queer, and you know how Jin's parents are. They exchange a knowing look. Well, they started suspecting, and they didn't want me and Jin hanging out anymore, so this girl I was close with, Andrea, I think her name was, she helped me out after I suggested the idea. She wasn't too huge on it, of course, but she just wanted to help and eventually agreed. We kept it up about a month, and she decided, rightfully so of course, that it was getting a bit too real and she wanted to stop. Well, I didn't. I obviously wasn't into her like that, but I still wanted to, why is that obvious though, if you're bi? But I still wanted to keep going to help hide it even better. So she did it for a couple more weeks before leaving and not talking to me again. I giggle to myself as I remember some info that Jin doesn't even know. She turned out to be a lesbian. Moved to Wisconsin, I guess. I'm sure I messed a lot of things up for her since she came out not long after our breakup, so she must have been still finding herself when that happened. Jin starts cackling, and Coda is just staring at me with wide eyes, his mouth open in shock and amusement. Whoa, you never told me that part. Jesus Christ, man. And you make fun of me. I chuckle at the absurdity of the whole story as well. Like I said, it's not my proudest moment. Not my proudest story. But I can think about it. Before I can think about it too hard, a voice calls out, a number from inside. Oh, I think that's us. I get up and go grab the bag, leaving them to continue their conversation. Food got her pretty fast. I walk up to the drink machine and immediately encounter a problem. There are too many options. I have no idea what I want. After a good 20 seconds of staring, I finally decide on sweet tea. That's usually my go-to. I'm a big tea drinker, and every time I tell myself I'm going to branch out, I end up drinking more tea. I fill up my cup, sticking my tongue inside and taking a small sip, before putting the cap on and going back outside to find the conversation had changed drastically. For the next however many minutes we were there, we just talked about random stuff like TV shows. Jin went off about some new game, but I don't really play video games, and Coda just looked bored. We finished our food and headed out. Ideal friend group. We're just like, sick of this conversation. Everyone's bored. Don't like this conversation. He keeps saying it at me. He just won't stop talking at me about it. And I don't know what he's saying. As I winded down to go to sleep, I thought about my time with the pair. We haven't hung out like that in a long time. We're all busy now. Coda especially doesn't ever hang out with us anymore. It almost seems like he's ignoring us. He's the one that asked you to hang out, so he's obviously not ignoring you. He initiated the plan. I know he isn't. That's just how he is. That's what it feels like. It sucks, but it just makes me enjoy our outings even more. I'm like, well, Coda initiated this entire social gathering, and you're specifically lying about being busy this weekend because you want time alone. So I'm like, you're having a strange. This is a strange series of thoughts to correlate. I turn on my desk lamp. I'm tired, but I can't go to sleep. I still have a ton of work to do that I've been putting off. So, instead of getting in bed, I go to my closet and rummage around. It's going to be a long night, so I need something to keep me awake. I know I don't technically have to hide it. I'm a grown adult and can make my own decisions, but I'd rather my family not know I'm relapsing. Finally, my hand grips a small cylinder. It rattles as I pull it out, and I stare at the clear orange bottle. Don't remember the last time I took any, but not because it was a long time ago. I'm smart enough to know better, but I don't ever stop myself. If I want to be successful with my schooling, I need it. That's the part that scares me. So I swallow the lump in my throat, wiping away a tear forming in my right eye, and pop the last pill in my mouth. This kind of came out of left field. Like if they're, It could be an interesting theme to explore, but you would want to emphasize how stressed he is by college, which he doesn't seem to particularly think much about so far. Almost none of the text has been about classes necessarily in any like concrete way, like what his workload is, what the stakes are, why he's struggling, and so on. When I was a sophomore in college, I moved into my boyfriend's apartment. I laid there, sweating and crying. The covers were damp, and the mattress felt like a rock. The pillow my face was buried in was suffocating. But if I did suffocate, would that be a bad thing? I heard him behind me, pacing around in a drug-induced craze. I heard him mumbling and then kick something hard. I heard a crack, which I'm praying was his toe. I hate him. I fucking hate him. I hoped he broke his whole goddamn foot. My muzzle was bruised and sore. How dare he hit me? How fucking dare he? I wonder what would happen if I hit him back. Would he hit me more? Would he kill me? He could. Fucking crazy asshole. I hoped he tried. I hoped he did. I slammed my fist against the bed. I was super jittery and was having a hard time staying still. I frantically scratched the scars on my wrist like they itched, even though they didn't. I could tell I was having a panic attack, but I didn't care. Despite sweating, my entire body was shivering. I felt a paw grab me by the scruff of my neck and jerk me up. I felt a certain rage boil over that I didn't feel for anyone except him. He screamed something at me, and I screamed back. He slapped me with the back of his hand and knocked my glasses off my face. I was silent as I sat upright on the bed, my legs crossed. He was standing over me, holding out a pill bottle. I tried to focus my eyes enough to read it, but the pills were making it hard. Xanax. The powerful kind. I snatched the bottle from his hand and took a couple. I had already taken a bunch of Tylenol from the piercing migraines. It was midterms week, and both of us had been on Adderall-fueled study session with little to no sleep. I took it far, far worse than him. I was rushed to the hospital not by my boyfriend, but by Coda, who lived in the apartment next door. His roommates heard the fight, and Coda came by to check on me. However, it also set a precedent. And from then on, nothing got better, only worse. So much worse. Chapter 2. That really came out of nowhere. Huh. That's a wild tone shift. Okay. I'm intrigued. I'm curious what's going on there. But also... Whoa. That is not what the first, 40 minutes of this episode were like. Not in obviously when bad things happen in people's life, they're not literally always in the middle of dealing with bad things. There's emotional range, but that is not what the tone seemed to be set for. That is wild. The art shift is cool too. I was curious because the, everything seemed so happy-go-lucky and cheery, but everyone had a subdued color palette in a way that seemed like an artistic choice. Here it's really shown here, how gray things are, and I'm like, huh, what's up, what's going on there? And now I guess that makes a bit more sense. But if you want to see what happens in the rest of the story so far, or in general, I didn't check to see if it was one build or a multi-update thing, or if it's in progress or what. I just kind of went for it. But link in the description to the itch.io page for the rest of it. Thanks for watching like always, guys, and I'll see you next time.